Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to another short review. And on this video, I'm going to talk about and review Werewolves. Stephen C. Miller and directed it. Frank Grillo stars in it. And I finally got to see it the other day. It's a film that I really enjoyed. I liked it a lot, except for the ending. That was really my only problem is I thought the film wrapped up way too easy, way too quickly, and it's yeah, I really didn't dig like the very end, but I like a lot of the other stuff in this. I like how it was shot. I liked how it was edited, directed. I liked how it was written. And I just thought that it was a pretty good werewolf movie, a lot of practical effects. A lot of people are calling it The Purge with werewolves, which is kind of true. I mean, there isn't a one night, that's just set aside for people to become werewolves and then they go out and hunt people. It's whenever a blood moon happens and they change into it's a gene and that kind of mutates and they turn into werewolves. uh the one thing that I didn't fully understand is if everybody walked outside during a blood moon, would they all turn into werewolves? Or is it just certain people with this gene that would turn into the werewolves? Because from what I'm, gathering, from watching it, is that they would, like anybody would just turn into a werewolf if they walked outside. So as long as people stay inside and cover up the windows and barricade everything, they would be okay. But if the blood moon light hit them, then that gene would mutate and then they would turn into werewolves. So I'm a little off on that. And it's I could see the comparison to The Purge, which I love, but oddly, and this is weird, is it's kind of apples and oranges, but when I was watching it, I kept thinking of Daybreakers, the vampire film, because both movies start after the effects of whatever it might be has happened. So Werewolves is like 1 year after that blood moon. And then Daybreakers is 10 years. And it started with like a single bat. And now after 10 years, all these people are now, or humans are now vampires. And if you didn't want to convert into being a vampire, then and stay human, then you would be hunted and used as a food source, because they would just drink your blood. So there's these little pockets of people, and that are trying to fight the vampires. But with werewolves, it just reminded me of that there's, because even in Daybreakers, they have a lab where they're trying to find a cure. Well, not really a cure, but a substitute for human blood, like a fake kind of like this synthetic blood that they can use, because there's, from what they can figure out, the vampires, is that there's only 5% of humans left, and they only have really like a month left of blood, and then they are going to change, and they're going to turn into basically like these giant bat mutations. With werewolves, they have the lab and they're trying to find a cure, and it's the moon that changes them, that blood moon that changes the person into a werewolf, where the In Daybreakers, the sunlight would kill the vampires, but of course they could come out, and and the moon was, the moonlight was fine for them. But I don't know, for some reason I almost thought, like, what if Daybreakers was like a sequel, even though it came out first? But you could almost say, Werewolves, which was, takes place a year after it all started, and Daybreakers, like I said, is 10 years. What if you swapped the vampires for werewolves, and you have this the the kind of like the hierarchy would be werewolves, and they're trying to find the humans, to basically just eat them. And but you have intelligent werewolves, and werewolves that are scientists, and they are trying to find, maybe like a synthetic food, like a synthetic meat. And then you have others that are trying to find a cure, and then you have other werewolves, kind of like the vampires, who don't want the cure. They're very happy about being vampires or werewolves. And the great thing with Daybreakers is that, it does have Ethan Hawke, it does have Willem Dafoe, but it also has Sam Neill. And I've always loved Sam Neill. He's a bucket list actor for me that I would love to work with, ever since I saw him when I was a kid, as Damien Thorne in The Final Conflict, which was The Omen Part 3. And I've been a fan of his ever since. And he's in The Mouth of Madness, and it's even Jurassic Park. But it's, for me, there are certain actors that you just want to have in your film. And it's kind of like I just looked him up here because for some reason I was blanking on his name. Like Udo Kier, or Kier. He was in Andy Warhol's Dracula, Andy Warhol's Frankenstein. So he played Dracula and he played Dr. Frankenstein. You hire him, and he's German. So you hire him to either play like Germans, or you hire him to play Dracula. Rutger Hauer would be the same thing, is that he was, a vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then he played a vampire in Salem's Lot, the miniseries. So there are just certain actors that you want in your movies because they played something before. And that would be the same thing, even like the movie Brother from Another Planet. And that has Joe Morton. So Joe Morton is the brother from Another Planet. And that's why he's in a lot of science fiction movies. He's in like Justice League, he's in Terminator 2. It's all because of that one John Sayles movie. And that's the brother from Another Planet. So when I see Sam Neill in something, I think that's just awesome, especially when it's something like this. With Werewolves, I'm really becoming a fan of Frank Grillo. And so he was, and to have him, who I could easily see play, the Punisher, he is a scientist, and he is one of the people that is trying to find this cure. And pretty much like The Purge, is when they know the blood moon is coming, which they said is like a couple times a year, they have everybody board up the houses. So they know what to do. They know when they need to stay inside. They know when, night hits, and then when morning comes, and they just have to stay inside. So what happens with werewolves is there's a lab. They have some people that would change into werewolves, and the and they're being experimented on. So they're being tested to see with, with being experimented on, when the moon does come out, will they turn into werewolves? At first, it looks like it works, and then it doesn't. And they all turn into werewolves. They bust out of their cages. They start killing everybody. They bite them. Then those people turn into werewolves, and they escape from the lab. And now this starts a whole kind of I don't want to say really invasion, but it starts a kind of like a mass killing that these werewolves do. And Frank Grillo's sister is a widow, and she has a kid, and she lives next door to like this Marine who's a little nutty, and he's got the guns, and he's waiting to be, he wants to kill some werewolves. And and what happens is there's a werewolf that's outside, and these werewolves aren't dumb. They're smart. So the werewolf throws like a big, say, like a washing machine or a dryer or something like that, like a fridge or something, through the window, and the light, the blood moon light shines through and hits the guy, and then he turns into a werewolf, and he's got like a particular like hairdo, and he's got a shirt on that says werewolf killer on it, and so we know it's him among the other werewolves. And he goes after Frank Grillo's sister, who lives next door, and they got the barbed wire, the fence around the house. They got the lights set up. They got the camera set up. They've boarded up all the windows. So I guess that and then Frank Grillo has to make his way back to, the sister's house so he can help, fight the werewolves so she doesn't get killed and probably turn into a werewolf. So that's kind of where I get, like I said, the comparison to the Purge, but there are certain things that I guess they wanted to avoid. The filmmakers wanted to avoid, so they wouldn't be compared too much to the Purge. Like in this case, is the house or houses and buildings and stuff are more like they put up boards, almost like it's a zombie attack, like Night of the Living Dead or something, when they board up the window. They board up the windows, they have the fence with the barbed wire and all that. But with things like the Purge, it is the houses have those like rolling metal doors that come down, and they block everything so people can't get into the house. So that would actually be the smart thing to do. If werewolves are out and they could easily break into the house, especially through just boards on a window, you would want to fortify this place excuse me, with like these metal doors. But I guess that would be too much like the Purge. And so you do excuse me, sorry, I'm still sick. You want to avoid those similarities, even though people are saying, oh yeah, it's the Purge with werewolves. So they have them do the basics, but you would think that if the blood moon happens, I think they say it happens like every 2 or 3 times a year. I could be wrong about that, might only be 2 times a year. That there would be areas that would be set up for this. Like maybe you could go to a high school, like basketball gym, like that type of thing, like the basketball area, and everything would be fortified. Or there would be businesses that this is what they do year round, is that they sell things to put up. They sell guns or silver bullets. And, it's been a year. So, and if they go off of movies, I would think they'd have werewolf movies that you would just go off of maybe the traditional werewolf, kind of, traits. But they seem to just kind of fortify the houses with just wood. But you would think that they would do better. So I don't know if they made a Werewolves 2, then they might, maybe it would be more that they know what they're doing. Like, it would be, a year later. And now there's these businesses, and there's teams that would go out, and that's their job, government type stuff, where they would board up the houses properly. And probably a lot of these people boarding up the houses and everything are werewolves. So they would need to board up the houses and then get away really, really fast, unless they're maybe picking out houses to hit or something. But it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And it sadly only made, box office was 2 million. So it's not letting us know what its budget is. And it's nice. The Newton brothers do the music, which is good. It also has Lou Diamond Phillips. That's always a good thing to get these old school guys in there. And it's saying that for like Rotten Tomatoes, it was 49%, 41 critics reviewed it, an average, which would be 5.2 out of 10. Assigned the score of 52 out of 100, based on 4 critics, indicating mixed to average reviews. Box office. In Russia, the film released on December 5th, 2024, and earned $76,323. And in the United States, it was released along like a Y2K on December 6th, and made a little over $1 million in 1,351 theaters. So it had a total of an opening gross of almost 2 million. So yeah, I really wish that this would have done better. Let's see. So the film is so it was co-produced by Stephen C. Miller. It was originally titled Year 2, but they say it's only been the first year. So maybe this is the first year, and then this is year 2 of like the werewolf infection type of thing. Looks like Puerto Rico is where it was shot. And then the film was retitled February of 2024 to Werewolves. And Stephen C. Miller has made some. I'd really like to interview him for One Filmmaker, One Film. I've reached out and I got no response. Just kind of a shame, because I have followed his career. But he's made stuff like Automation Transfusion, which is a great zombie flick. Cry of the Banshee, The Aggression Scale. He did a film called Granny, Under the Bed. He did the remake of Silent Night, which is a great remake. Extraction, Submerged, Marauders, Arsenal, First Kill, Escape Plan 2, Hades. Donald Wills and I will be reviewing. We couldn't, unfortunately, do it for December. So we're going to maybe do in January. We're going to have 2 film discussions. Both will be Schwarzenegger. I'm sorry. Both will be Sylvester Stallone. And the first one will probably be Escape Plan 1, 2, and 3. And then the one towards the end of the month will be the Expendables 1 through 4. Because we like to do December, as long as we can, Stallone for December, and then Stallone for January. But things just didn't work out in December. So we're hopefully going to have 2 available in January. This way we still keep on track with doing 12 episodes, more basically a year. Then Line of Duty, you got Marjorex, I think is what it says, and then Werewolves. And a lot of these films, a good amount of them are with Bruce Willis. So yeah, so he's made some good stuff. and I own some of it. I should probably pick up more. But yeah, so my overall review for Werewolves is definitely watch it. It's now on streaming, and I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me. There might be a second. There's normally two. Check it out on streaming. If you didn't go see it in the theater, watch it on streaming. That's where I saw it. And like I said, it really is. I think it's like that last, there's a good fight at the end that I like between two werewolves. And it's a good fight. I don't know. Maybe if I rewatch the ending or just rewatch the movie again, maybe I'd like the ending more. But I just thought it just ended too easy. Maybe it was supposed to end that way because it's supposed to be maybe a sequel was in mind. I'm not really sure. But I would say 98% of the film is really good. It's just that last part that I wasn't a big fan of. So if I had to rate this, if I did the 1, to 5, I would give this a good solid 4. And I think it's definitely worth watching, especially for the practical effects. So give it a shot, check it out. Watch Stephen C. Miller's other movies. Watch, Frank Grillo films too. In fact, let's take a quick look here at Frank Grillo, and then I'll let you guys go because I think he needs to be doing more. And so Frank Grillo, he's been in a lot of stuff, but he's now just getting really known. Mambo Kings, Deadly Rivals, Deadly Charades, Simplicity, The Sweetest Thing, Minority Report. Oh, he was a pre-crime cop, so he worked with Tom Cruise and Spielberg. A lot of TV stuff. Hunter, April Shower. So he's done comedies, dramas. This is like 2007, 2008. I Murders, Pride and Glory. That was a good one. Blue Bloods TV. Edge of Darkness. Oh, that's with Mel Gibson. Mother's Day. Oh, I didn't like Mother's Day. Was not a big fan of that. Love the original. My Soul to Take. That's a good one. That's Wes Craven. The Gray. That's a good one too. Liam Neeson. Joe Carnahan. End of Watch. That's a good one. So he's getting bigger here. Zero Dark 30. Gangster Squad. That's a good one too. Homefront. Jason Statham. Oh, yeah. He was in Captain America Winter Soldier. He was in 2 of the Purge movies. So Purge Anarchy. He was also in Demonic, which is a film produced by James Wan. Captain America Civil War. And then the Purge election year. And he just keeps working. I'm not listing everything. The Wheelman, Beyond Skyline, that's right. Reprisal, that's Bruce Willis. Avengers Endgame. I just watched that. Oh, maybe I did catch him in that. Into the Ashes. Black and Blue, Hell on the Border. Oh, Boss Level. This is one I want to see. It looks like there's Mel Gibson there. Yeah, I wanted to see this one. Yeah, it's the time loop one. It's the Groundhog Day. Yeah, I want to see that one. Jiu-Jitsu, that's with Nicolas Cage. Cosmic Sin, that's also with Bruce Willis. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Cop Shop. Oh, that's also Joe Carnahan. Man, he's been in a lot of stuff. A Day to Die, that's Bruce Willis again. He's been in a lot of Bruce Willis stuff. Coming, that was like 2022. some Westerns. Justice League War World. That's a, looks like it's animated. Film called Lights Out. Long Gone Heroes. Hounds of War. Werewolves. Oh, he's in Superman, the new Superman movie by James Gunn. He plays Rick Flag Sr. Hard Matter is another one coming up. And then the untitled 6th Purge movie. So they're doing another Purge film, and he's in that. And television, I can't even get into that. I mean, this is just like regular TV, not TV movies, but Silk Stockings, Poltergeist, The Legacy, Law and Order, The Shield, The District, Prison Break, CSI, Without a Trace, Las Vegas, CSI New York, Law and Order again, Breakout Kings, Fright World, Billions, What If, which I think is the, I think that's the Marvel series, the animated series. Tulsa King, that's Stallone. Oh, Creature Commandos, he's in that. Peacemaker. So man, yeah, he has been in a ton of stuff. So yeah, so definitely check him out and Stephen C. Miller, and check out Werewolves too. So all right, everybody. So thanks for watching this. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you on the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.